Okay, let's talk about set 2 and what we are expecting heading into the pre-release season.
Whitebeard is very early game heavy.
Yeah, Whitebeard's an interesting leader. So he does. The big thing about him obviously is the 6k power. That's massive.
And 6 life.
Like, your opponent always has to add additional Don to get over this card, which is pretty big. So they have to always invest Don into the swings.
Minimum 2k counter.
But there is another way that you can play against Whitebeard, where if you just purposefully take 6 turns, wait for them to lose all their life, then start swinging real hard. That is one way to go about it.
Until they get that Marco.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is if you give them time, they'll just set up their board. So you could just waste all your attacks to kill their characters, rather than go for their life. So that's one way to get around Whitebeard. But also 6 life, he essentially gets 6 free draws. He's a pretty interesting leader. And I think he just gets better, especially with set 3, with the EZO.
Yeah. He definitely gets that and Ace.
Yeah, true.
And all the Ace
stuff.
Cards. Yep. Yeah.
So I think Whitebeard's in an interesting spot. I think people will definitely
try him,
gravitate towards him.
I don't know. Originally, when this set first got announced, and I saw how Whitebeard worked,
yeah,
I was very scared of the Whitebeard deck.
Mm-hmm.
But it does so much self damage.
Yeah, it's a scary deck to play.
I feel like it can't be super consistent.
It's very dependent on what they draw, but then again, they do get 6 free draws, so
yeah,
that's the way that they kind of play.
It's that Marco, right? Marco comes out in set 2, the one that just constantly respawns.
Yeah, he does respawn, but he respawns rested, so you can't just like get block.
But on KO, he just keeps coming back.
Yeah, but you have to trash a card from your hand with Whitebeard Pirates in order to do that.
Yeah, but in 6 turns, you've added 6 cards. You've added 12 cards to your hand.
Yeah, but you also want to play cards as well.
Not necessarily.
Well, you want to make sure that you can still win. In order to win, you have to take out their life.
Yeah, but if your leader is already hitting for minimum 6k...
Oh, it helps, for sure.
Yeah, like, your opponent is now required to either block the...
And there's more cards we'll talk about that also supplement this strategy, too.
It's just... It makes me very nervous, but I haven't seen anything super scary from
And I mean, this ult art later looks so good, too. I love it.
That's my impression of Whitebeard.
But then we have Garp from this set. So here's an interesting one. Red and black, which is a new combo that we haven't had yet in the card game. Once per turn, which is your turn, it says, when you attach Don to this leader or your characters, reduce by -1 the cost of up to one of your opponent's cost 7 or lower characters during this turn. It is weird. It doesn't actually mention once per turn, though. I assume it is once per turn. If you could just attach as many Don as you want to get as many minuses as you want, that actually could be good if it's infinite.
Reduced by -1 the cost of up to one of your opponent's costs.
Yeah. It says whenever you attach Don, though.
It doesn't say whenever. It just says when you attach.
Yeah.
That would be something that we would need to look up the rules on.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I assume it's just once per turn.
I would assume so, but it doesn't say once per turn.
Yeah.
Like...
But either way, the fact that it's red and black, you get access to all the black cards, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, and then the rush.
Yeah.
The rush red cards.
And jet pistol. And because he is a dual leader, he has less life, so radical beam is actually pretty decent for him. Low cost 4k counter.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, but the thing is, red and black don't have a lot of synergy together.
No, you would honestly, like, probably pick one color to run.
Yeah, and like mainly stick with
yeah,
that
like
strat.
if anything, my guess is you would probably use just the rush reds, the red event cards, and then focus primarily on black.
Yeah, that's the thing though, is like if you're gonna run a black leader, there's just better black leaders to run.
There are.
Yeah.
There are.
So Garp's, he might be interesting in the future when we get different red cards that could work with it, with black. But as for right now, I don't know. It just seems kind of okay. Vanilla Atmos, he's a Whitebeard Pirates character, which is the most important thing. He's got a like normal stat line, 4 for 6 with a 1k counter. Hard to complain. We got our first SR though, which is Edward Newgate, and obviously he has his beautiful alt art. So 9 drop for 10k, no counter. But he has an on play where up to one of your leader gains 2,000 until the start of your next turn.
Up to one of your leaders?
Well, it says up to one of your leaders. That's what it says. I know. You've only got one leader. But I guess you don't have to get the plus 2000 if you don't want to.
I guess if you, which I don't understand
know why
you wouldn't want it.
Then you cannot add cards from your life area to your hand by your effects during this turn. So if you play it while you still have life cards with the Whitebeard leader, you can kind of negate his effect.
Yeah, you no longer...
That effect doesn't matter that much, usually. But then again, if you've got, like, some of your own effects, like, I don't know, there are cards that add life cards to hand to do certain effects. So this could kind of negate you from doing that. I don't know. It's kind of weird, though. But the plus 2000 is big, because your leader can become a 7k or an 8k with Whitebeard.
Yeah.
So that's pretty big. And, like, I know that when set 2 comes out, Rush Zora is probably... the Zora deck is going to be pretty big. And making your Zora leader get an extra 2000 power is pretty nice.
Yeah. Thankfully, you won't be able to search for him in the red deck, though. Not until set 3.
Yep, correct. And he also has an on-tacking effect, Don ×2, K up to one of your opponent's characters with 3000 power or less.
So it's basically like you put Robin in like a trash OP. Robin. Yeah, it's a super buff Robin. Is what it is.
Just Photoshop his face out for Robins.
Yeah. Like, again, you can't search for him, so it is literally luck of the draw. But
it is kind of annoying you have to put 2 Don on him, because, like, he's already at 10k. It's not like you need to make him any more powerful. Either way, Whitebeard, he's a bomb of a card that red decks are going to play.
He's literally the saving grace of the Whitebeard leader ability.
A lot of red decks will probably opt to use him over Shanks. But Shanks is also kind of nice because he does rush.
He rush and he avoids blockers.
2k or less blockers.
Yeah, which is what a lot of them are going to be. Like, a lot of your big issues.
Yeah. So Whitebeard's interesting. He's a big boy. We got Dadan. This is one of the biggest cards to come out in set 2. So Zora players really want to look after this card. So it's a 2-drop for 3k with a counter. On play, look at the top 5. Add a 1 red card with a character card with a cost of 1 or less. Add it to your hand. Put the rest on the bottom. So the big thing is you could add Sunny Kun, which is a 1-drop 3k power from the film deck. Works very well with Zora. But also...
You know what else that works really well with?
You know. What?
Law.
What do you mean law?
A law deck.
Oh, law deck. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
It would work really well with law because you want your low-cost characters
I guess.
out on the field to use the law ability.
Yeah, it makes sense. But again, you could also just whiff because you're also using green cards.
Yeah, I'm just throwing out options there, dude.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. You could use it in a law deck. But definitely synergizes better with red, for sure. But yeah, you could use it in law. Yeah, I guess you could run like a more red-centered law deck. Mm-hmm. That could actually work. Because like even Nami, this could search for Nami. Because she's a 1-cost, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Both Namis, actually.
Yep.
But yeah, it searches for this card. Mark, you know, this is another card Zora players will typically use. You can rest her, and then one of your red characters with a cost of 1 gains plus 3k power. So you can make, you could make any of your low-cost cards.
So basically, on your next turn, you get the Don up to 7k by putting 1 Don on Zoro.
Well, Machina will not add power to the Don because it has to be 1 cost.
Oh.
So you can add it to like Nami's.
Sunny Kun.
Yep, Nami's, Sunny Kun's, and they just become buff. And the fact that you can play this character and use her ability straight away because it's an activate main ability, and she's a 2k counter, and she's searchable off the Don.
But it's only the 1-cost characters.
Yeah. So it's not perfect, but it's nice because it's another 2k counter you can use. So it's nice. We got some vanilla, Kingdu, another like good statted Whitebeard character. A Thatch, another good statted Whitebeard character. Yeah. Nothing crazy there. We got a Jozu, 4-cost 4k, 2k counter, and
if you
1
have
Don.
2 or less life cards, and your leader has Whitebeard Pirates in its type, this character gains Rush. Not terrible.
Yeah, not terrible. It's a 2k counter, so you probably will use it in a Whitebeard deck.
Yeah, I mean it would be at 5k with 1.
Yeah. It's like a 2k counter that you can use early game, and then late game, if you draw it, you just get a free rush card. Like, it doesn't seem bad.
Yeah.
And it's a
and
Whitebeard
it's
pirate
so
card.
easy to get 2 or less life on Whitebeard, so.
Exactly, yeah, OP-02 red is just, it's amazing. Like, the red is really strong in OP-02.
Not as strong as black.
Oh, yeah, we'll see about that. We got Squad, which is one of the box toppers. 3 for 5, no counter. On play, if your leader has Whitebeard Pirate type, you give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 4k, and then add the top card of your life area to your hand. So this is a card you can mitigate off of Whitebeard, but I don't think you're playing Whitebeard and Squad in the same turn.
You can't, because that would be 12.
Yeah, so you don't have the Don for it, but...
No, but you know what you can do with this? Jet Pistol.
Yes, this is a good card to synergize with
Jet Pistol for Kaido.
Yep, any 10k you can kill with this and Jet Pistol. Yep, so that's pretty strong.
Yeah, that's pretty broken.
It's a buffed Otama, but you do have to have a Whitebeard pirate leader, so either Whitebeard or Ace from set 3. Yeah. So that's the only downside there. We have this guy, Dogura. Main ability, you may rest this character, play a red card other than himself with a cost of 1 from your hand. I don't think many players will opt to use this card.
Law, maybe.
Maybe.
Only because you want to get as many low-cost cards out, and then you could just recycle this back for the 1k counter into your hand.
I suppose.
To get 2 cards out.
He only does play red cards, though, so you probably run a centered around red.
Centered around red, yeah.
And then you got Vista. This card's really good.
This card is so stupid. This is like Robin and Killer had a baby.
Yeah, it is just like a different version of those types of cards. Yeah.
Just Robin and Killer, they had a baby, and you got Vista.
I mean, you could use the synergy of Squad and then play Vista, so you can KO any 7k card.
Yeah.
That's like really cool. So yeah, Vista's pretty solid. Definitely used in Whitebeard decks and Zora decks. Blenheim, just a blocker. He's fine.
2k, yeah.
Ace.
Well, the good thing about him is he gets around Shanks, because he is more than a 2k,
I guess.
2k blocker.
I mean, Shanks isn't like a big card you need to worry about.
No, but he looks really
cool. This can still be KO'd by like Robins and other Vistas and stuff.
Okikus and everything, yeah.
Yeah. Then you got Ace, another SR. This card's
very good. Can we see Manga
good.
Ace instead?
Yep.
Oh, look at how cool he looks.
This card's very strong. 7 for 7k, no counter, on play. 2 of your opponent's characters get minus 3k. Then if you got a Whitebeard leader, he gets Rush. So...
It's Otama.
Well, it's a Whitebeard Pirates leader, so you can summon this with Ace leader in set 3 and still get Rush. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's like Otama on crack. And the fact that he rushes is kind of wicked. Just playing this massive bomb late game. And the fact that he's 7 cost and he's like this high power with Rush, it means you still can use 3 other Don for something else. So I really like that.
Yeah.
This card's just generically good. The fact that like you can also play him like late game to try and swing for game and like make your opponent's blockers less, to make some of your other characters hit more efficiently. Yeah, it seems like it's just a good card. I think you definitely use this if you're using a Whitebeard leader, no doubt. It's good. Not really much else to say. He's just good.
Yeah, he's one of the better, if not the best, SR in the secret in the set.
He's a great SR. Got Whitey Bay. Can attack active characters.
Which means you can attack the blockers.
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
We had Bonnies.
We had the Frankie from set 1, that, from one of the sets, or the starter deck, I can't remember.
I think it was a starter deck.
Yeah, it was very similar, but not too many people opt to use it, but I think it's interesting.
I think that more people should try to use it, because I think it'll get around like the Capones, the Choppers, the Laws, those 1-cost blockers. This gets around it.
And the fact you have to attach a Don to it means that if she's attacking for 3k, that can get over a lot of those little blockers.
Yeah.
So it just seems good. And even if like as you said, like your opponent can just play an active, have an active Bonnie or whatever, and you can still attack over it.
Yeah, that's what I do. Like I'll play Bonnie on my first turn.
If this card had Rush, this card would be pretty busted actually.
If that card had Rush, I bet it would be a 3-cost.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I do think this card will probably see some sort of play. It's interesting. Yeah. We already briefly talked about Mark, she's very good. Magra. Up to 1 of your red characters with a cost of 1 gains plus 3k. So it's very similar to Mark, but it's an on-play effect rather than a main ability. So with Mark, you can get it multiple times over different turns. Whereas this is just an on-play. It's just different.
Yeah.
We got Masked Deuce. Do you know who this character is, by the way?
No.
So this is Ace's first crewmate.
Oh.
Masked Deuce. He was...
What a name, man. What a name.
Yeah, he's a bit of a weird fella. He was in a side story that Oda wrote. He's a 2k counter, which is cool. Don 2 when attack. KO one of your opponent's characters with 2,000 power or less. Another version of Robin. Like,
Yeah.
all these removal cards for red are so annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can only hit characters that are rested. So characters that hit active, like, it's very rare. You don't see these types of abilities that often.
Yeah, they have to be rested.
But yeah, he has an alt art in the set as well. So, I don't know. He seems fine, but I think this is kind of a wasted slot
He has
for
an
an
alt art?
This is the alt art.
Is he a box topper?
No.
I'm not gonna lie. If that was the alt art I pulled, I'd be so disappointed.
Yeah, I think this will be one of the lowest costed alt arts of the set.
I'd be now that I've said that, I'm gonna get so many of those. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so disappointed.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing.
Sorry.
Anyways, no, you're fine.
This dude just pisses me off. I hate this guy.
Marco. 4 for 5 with a 1k counter. On KO, or he's a blocker, and on KO, trash a card with Whitebeard Pirates in its type. And if you have 2 or less life, you can play him from the trash rested.
So basically, he just keeps coming back. Literally revives like a phoenix.
Your opponent has to swing at him twice to get rid of him.
No, he just keeps coming back.
Well, you got to keep discarding to do it.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
because of how many cards Whitebeard can get in their hand from having to do their life.
At least early game. Yeah, I
Like,
guess.
you get him out early game, like...
Yeah, and this is the cool thing about this guy too, is that even though he's a blocker, you can use him defensively, but kind of like Green Law, you can use him offensively as well, and he'll become rested. If your opponent swings over him, you can bring him back, so your opponent might be in a situation...
I think I would like this better if the on KO was on block.
Yeah, that would balance it out, but then again, I don't know how...
Kind of like how
meta-defining
Boa's
this
is like Boa in set 1, her +1 card, like her draw 1 effect is on block or on attack.
Yeah.
I would like that better if it was on block.
But at the same
doesn't get
time,
destroyed.
at the same time, I feel like the restrictions on this card are fair. You need to have a Whitebeard Pirate leader, and you need to trash a card from your hand, and you need to have 2 or less life, which in a Whitebeard deck is easy to do.
Yeah.
But still, I think the restrictions are pretty fair.
No, Alex, you would have to play him from trash on his KO.
Yeah, when he's dead, when he dies.
So instead of putting him to the trash, you just bring him back and rest him instead.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks.
So there's Marco. He seems pretty good. Rakuyo. Don 1, your turn. All of your characters with Whitebeard Pirates gain +1000. So it's like a Zora leader for the Whitebeard Pirates.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
I don't know. Is he good?
When you think about it, yeah. But see, so the difference here is, so as you know, my favorite card in the green deck is that 4-cost X-Drake.
From the starter deck.
From the starter deck, which gives +1k to your leaders and characters that have a supernova and or navy type to them.
Correct.
This is only characters. So this would not work for your leader, whereas in the kid deck, if I attack with my X-Drake, my leader does get that +1k.
Yeah, you could just like have him on the field and you don't even have to attack with him.
Yeah.
You can just have a Don on him and always have him active so your opponent can't kill him. Unless he's got 4k power, so he's very hard to kill with those KO effects. But black decks can KO him pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because he's low cost. I don't know. I don't know if Whitebeard Pirates are going to waste a turn to summon this guy. I think early game, if you're like on curve, turn 2, you get 3 Dons, summon him straight away, just keep him on the field. Maybe. Might be useful.
Yeah.
And it's only characters, not your leaders.
That's what I literally just went into my whole explanation on.
Yeah. Then you got decently statted Little Laws Jr.
Decently statted. I mean, for a vanilla, yeah.
Not really much else to say. It's just a vanilla.
Yeah.
Okay. He's a giant type. Interesting.
Did you notice that it's a Whitebeard Pirate subordinate?
Yeah, Whitey Bay had the same thing. But it still has Whitebeard Pirates in the name. So it still counts for this. Yeah. Alright, events for red. Seaquake. If your leader is Whitebeard Pirates and it's type, KO one of your opponent's characters with 3 cost or less. And the trigger, give it to one of your opponent's characters.
With 3 cost or less, with 3,000 power or less.
Yeah, same thing.
Totally different.
And the trigger is the same thing.
No, wait. No, this is KO. This is give minus 3,000 power. I was like, there's no way. Otherwise, it would just say activate main.
That's interesting. Yeah, you're right.
I don't really like it.
This is not a counter card either, so you have to use it during your turn.
Yeah, I mean, it does only cost 1 Don to get rid of a lot of those low-cost blockers.
And plus, they have cards that can lower power with Ace and Squad. I think it's good. I think it's actually a very good event card.
I think it's worth playing.
Yeah, I think it's good.
If your leader has Whitebeard Pirates...
What are you talking about?
Oh, I was reading the other one.
Oh.
Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 character card with Whitebeard Pirates in its type and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is basically the Bonnie.
Yep, this is the Searcher for the Whitebeard deck with a trigger, which is pretty cool. The thing is, though, is that at the end of your turn, when you pick up a life with Whitebeard, you can't activate trigger. So that...
You can't?
No, it's not the same. I'm pretty sure you can't.
Are you sure?
I don't think you can activate trigger on cards you pick up with Whitebeard. Because your opponent isn't activating them. It's at the end of your turn. I'm not too sure. Yeah, you can't. Yeah. So that kind of sucks. But at the same time, I feel like if you could, that'd be kind of busted, to be honest. But yeah, if you're running the Whitebeard deck, you're definitely picking... You're probably using this in some capacity. Because searching is kind of busted. And we have the 1 cost event. Main, if you have 3 or less life cards, you cannot add life cards to your hand using your own effects this turn. Your leader or one of your characters gains plus 1000. I don't think you play this. This is a wasted card in my opinion. And while the trigger's okay, I would much rather play any of the other cards over this.
No, the trigger is trash.
What?
The trigger is trash because trigger activates after the attack goes through.
Yeah, but at the same time, if it's early in the attack chain, you can make your leader gain another 1000 power during the turn, which makes your leader harder to get over. Like, I can get how the trigger's good, but this main effect is not that good.
Activate it.
Yeah, it's bad. But then the stage card. 2 cost to play, your turn. If you have 1 or less life, your Edward Newgate and all of your characters with Whitebeard Pirates gain 2000 power. This card is busted. Actually busted.
I hate this card.
It's so good. Holy shit.
I hate this card.
I forgot how good this card was. Damn. Oh man, that is insane.
It basically will clear your whole board.
Yeah, set 2 Whitebeard isn't like amazing, but set 3 Whitebeard
is much better.
Goes freaking brazy.
It does get much better, set 3.
So, as we can see with all the red cards, it's very centered around the Whitebeard Pirates. And they seem okay, but they get better in set 2.
Yeah.
Set 3.
Set 3.
Yeah. Okay.